Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us episode 204. That's 204. Yes, we've done this 203 times already. Look how tired Paul looks. That's why. My name is Russell Frost. I have the privilege of being your friendly host this week, and luckily for me, I don't have to do it by myself. I have two of my favorite panelists here. Let's introduce them and get this thing going. You see, I never know which one is on the left or the right, because on my screen it like flips, and so either on the left or the right, I'm not sure which one. He is the founder, the main man, the sole proprietor of Boulder Hybrids. He is our expert in EV and hybrid technical details. His name is Paul Guzik.
Hey, it's good to be back, and it's a wonderful evening here in Boulder, Colorado. So they tell me.
Very well said, sir.
Yep.
Very well said. And
when's the last time you've been out?
Yeah.
Don't get out much, eh, Paul?
Noontime-ish. Yeah. It was nice at noon.
Yeah. Wow. And next to him is our man in the Chevrolet Volt. His name is Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's it's 0 degrees here in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. Just about zero. Maybe it's 1. But it's getting darn close to that white stuff.
Zero
coming.
Canadian or zero American?
0 Canadian, yes.
Okay.
Zero Canadian.
That's 32 Fahrenheit for those keeping track.
Okay.
So now we know global warming doesn't exist. I got nothing. That's as political as I'm going to try to get tonight, kids.
Yeah.
Frankly, that's more political than I wanted
down
to be.
the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
We'll talk about cars.
Let's talk about cars. Paul, what a brilliant idea. And, because Paul's so brilliant, Paul's leading off the news this week. So, Paul, you take it away, sir.
Okay. Russell, I assume you'll put up the link, but
Absolutely.
Google or Alphabet or whatever they call themselves, they announced Android Auto for every Android device after a certain version. As the article mentions, you can now put Android Auto in your 92 Corolla. And if you have a smartphone, it gives you bigger buttons on the display, hands-free calling, and other partners like Logitech are going to build a mount system. So basically, instead of paying the dealer extra for an integrated smartphone dash display thing, you can just plop your phone on the dash and pretend it's a fancy Tesla or something. So that's pretty cool. And basically the software is free. Obviously it won't tie in directly to the car. You won't be able to adjust the heater controls and stuff of the car, but navigation, information, listening to your emails, voice transcription back to your emails, all that stuff will be there and easy to hit. You'll be able to, if someone tries to call you, you'll be able to hit a button that says, I'm driving, go away. So it's pretty cool that they're doing it free, because everybody's been asking Toyota to do stuff like this, and they're saying, no, we want you to buy our overpriced, crappy car electronics. So it could be good.
This is going to be very interesting to see if this can subvert like OEM upgrades.
Right.
Yeah, there's a note in here that that the UI makes things a little bit larger and readable, easier touch targets. But one of the things that it's omitting currently is the OK Google ability, where you can talk to it. But they say that Google said that they will be adding that feature eventually. So you'll hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be there soon.
I'm sure it won't be long. I mean,
Yeah.
You can do it now when you're driving with your phone. You say, okay, Google, where's the nearest gas station?
Yeah, so adding that would be a big bonus, I would think, and bring it even more options to the driver's abilities to do would be great. And here's a shout out to Apple. Hopefully they'll do it for their users as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick Connor was kind enough to install the application and said it worked really well for him. He liked it. He liked the voice to text to send text messages and stuff and to read them. So, anything that makes driving safer and more convenient, I totally support. And this is a great idea.
Well, and the big thing about, using Google for navigation or their sister company Waze is it's real-time data, where the navigation that's built in your car is often, a 6-year-old map that's outdated, doesn't know if there's a wreck on your way to work that morning, and having something that knows what's going on and route you around the bad things, it just saves time, saves fuel, makes everybody happier.
I always like that feeling I get when I drive on a road that's not in the navigation map, and I'm just like,
You're driving through the field.
yeah, I'm just driving through a field. Oh, look, I'm in a pond. Oh, look, I'm flying. It's like I'm in space or something.
Well, I think there was a story, was it the Anchorage airport, when the Apple Maps first came out, people would type in they were going to the airport and it would route them onto the runway instead of the passenger terminal.
I love that.
And they finally had to fence off the back of the airport because cars were literally going on the runway. And so, anyway.
I bet you the fence didn't even stop them.
Right through it.
Honey, the screen says go here. It's got to be right.
Like, how many times have you heard those stories where they're following their map and they end up in the water because the car told me to turn left?
Yeah. Officer, the car told me to drive this way, and even though it's a one-way street and I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, I figure the map must be supersede what the real traffic is doing.
Yeah. Google's more correct than real life.
Yeah, blame Apple. It's Apple's fault.
Yeah.
They told me to do it. I didn't want to drive on the runway. Well, that's awesome. Thanks, Paul.
So I think that could be a cool thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, and I hope Apple does the same thing. I hope Logitech prices a little holder thing at a reasonable price.
It would be really neat if they took like a tablet device that didn't even have a cell phone in it and somehow could slave it. So you could buy like a 7 or an 8-inch tablet and then slave it to your phone that's in your bag and have the big display with the big graphics and everything. Yeah, like that, and mount that in the car.
I'd love to have this on my dash.
Yeah, and then you don't need to buy 2 phones and just have it somehow use the radio capabilities of your main phone when you're in the car.
Right, just use it as
Google, if you're listening, make it do that. That would be cool.
Yeah,
or Apple.
Absolutely. I love that. We all get iPads in our dash. Yay! Even in my 85 Corolla, which I actually don't have an 85 Corolla, but it's a nice image.
Isn't that the same as the 2012 Coda?
Yeah, just
car.
different badging, nothing else.
Badges. Yeah. Smaller gas tank.
Yeah.
You couldn't figure out how Coda got to market that quickly. Well, that's how.
They found a stash of 10,000 85 Corollas, put them in containers, shipped them to the U.S.
Threw a battery in them.
Why are we making fun of a company that's not even in business anymore? I mean, that's just sad.
Because the lawyers let us.
That's it. Exactly. Thank you. What drives us legal? Yeah.
We've yet to be sued by a company that's out of business.
Well, we've got a few stories left. Maybe we'll strike that magic gold tonight. Yay. Speaking of which, Mr. Coughlin, I believe you have the next story, sir.
Yes. It looks like our friends at Toyota.
We have friends at Toyota?
have
still?
Yeah, apparently so. But we do. It looks like they have maybe done a 180.
Wait,
all this time, they've been telling us that they didn't believe that battery-powered electric cars would really work, and that hydrogen fuel cells, were the future. And now we get this great article from Entrec that tells us that Toyota is planning long-range battery-powered electric vehicles for the year 2020, and its hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are failing.
Oh.
Well, color me shocked. I just cannot believe.
Who saw that coming?
Nobody on this show, that's for sure. But this is just this.
I wonder if it had anything to do with the 350,000 people giving Tesla $1,000 for a battery electric vehicle that won't exist for 2 years. Maybe that woke them up.
That could have woken them from their slumber right there. Yeah, that was a pretty loud and resounding electric cars work in the eyes of the public.
Yeah.
I am telling you, the morning that happened, there were some really tense board meetings all over the planet.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Lots of places. And they went, whoa, what?
What
yeah.
the F?
Yeah. You guys, how can we be this far off?
Yeah.
So the article further reports that Toyota's having difficulty selling the Mirai, their hydrogen vehicle. Wow.
That's because they have
Another
like three
shocking revelation.
fueling stations.
In the U.S., despite they even having a price cut recently, down an additional $500 in California. But they just cannot find a market for the vehicle. A total of 782 units have been sold since they started deliveries. And
half of them are Toyota employees, probably.
it's just not working for them. So it's interesting that they claim that they're going to be able to have, again, by 2020, a electrical vehicle with a range of more than 300 kilometers or 186 miles on a single charge. Now
That's
could
a
be
Chevy.
a problem in itself because you're basically coming to market in 4 years or 3 years with a car
With a
that
2016 Chevy Bolt.
it's not quite up to par. It's maybe somewhere in the area of 50 or 70 some miles below what's going to be released today or this month or next month.
Right.
Well,
So it's kind of releasing an older technology into a market that's going to be a little bit more mature than what they're expecting.
Maybe Toyota bought the leftover Kodas that they didn't sell.
There you go. Yep.
That's because it already kind of looks like a Corolla.
So again, unbelievable that they've made the 180. I wonder if it's been. I wonder if new management has shown the new direction, or if the management that pushed the hydrogen has made the 180. I'm kind of thinking that maybe some people have been shown the door.
I'm sorry, did I miss something in the article? Does it doesn't say anything about people inside Toyota, right?
It does
This is
not.
all
I'm speculating. I'm
Right.
speculating.
I don't know that anybody's change has been booted or changed in Toyota, but they tend to be also very quiet about that. So it could be. I mean, it's. I wonder too, given Toyota's strong intransigence about changing their view of electric vehicles, they have been staunchly against them
Right.
for a very long time, and all of a sudden, boom! Like, oh, hey, we've seen the light. So the question is, to both of you guys, do you think this is bullshit? Have they really seen the light?
I think they're going to have to, because everyone else is going to have a major EV by then, and they just got to get with the program.
Okay, and then to Mark's. I'm sorry, Mark. Please.
I don't know. It's been such a long time coming. I just.
But
I believe
for like
Paul is correct that they are
10 years
going
they
to have.
Sorry to interrupt, but for 10 years they had like the best darn EV. The RAV4 EV from 2002 was way ahead of its time, and it's still, many of those are on the road today. So they have the capabilities, and I don't know. I guess they went into the hybrid market. They felt that was smarter than pure EVs, and then they started smoking hydrogen.
That
But
shit's addictive.
Apparently,
you know,
it is.
That's all I'm
I
saying.
don't know. I can only hope that they're listening to the market and listening to people like us, and they'll realize that battery EVs are going to be significant in our future.
Yeah, I think they have to see the light. I'm just not sure if they're going to see the light in the next 2 years. But
Right.
it's interesting that they pushed it out that far, another 3 years out before they're going to make a dive into it. I would have thought they would have had something in the wings that they could release a little quicker.
Yeah.
Exactly. And honestly, Mark, you also hit the nail on the head in a big way, which is in 2020, a 185-mile EV is going to be what? You know what I mean? Like, thanks, Toyota, but we did that 5 years
Yeah.
ago. So And again, Paul highlighted this by saying the RAV4 in 2002. There was a time when Toyota was a technology leader in alternative cars for a long time. And then they just gave up. They just sort of settled back and went, we're making Priuses like mad dogs, and that's enough.
Right.
And I think that's a huge mistake, which segues into the next article, if I may. And we can still talk about this, but these two things go together pretty well. Wait. Did I? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got confused. Not the next article. That's a different thing. But it's
what I find unusual is that Toyota had to invest so much in the Prius, and they spent so much time with it, knowing it was a fledgling sales to start with, and they had to stay with it for so long. And then they reaped the benefits of it once it caught on, and they were selling tons of units. And they didn't do it with the EV. They could have stuck with it. They had a winner already. Why would they not, feed the new technology and try to keep it going? I don't get it. Yeah. Because they already did it once. They should have been able to see that it does take some nurturing in order to get that market rolling.
Why give away that much market share to Tesla, to Nissan, and to Chevrolet when they could have easily done something? Instead, they kind of poo-pooed electric technology, and they spent a god-awful sum of money on the Mirai.
Maybe there's some conspiracy theory. Maybe Big Oil owns part of Toyota, and they won't let them do it.
I'm not real good with the conspiracy theory, but yeah. No,
it's always fun to blame Big Oil and stuff.
But but you know what we have when we talked about hydrogen, and we talk about where they're getting the hydrogen, they're getting the hydrogen from fossil fuel, from methane. Right. That we've said. So what's the difference?
Yeah. Well, and the as we've talked about in the past, the hydrogen delivery infrastructure is just not there at a cost effective, where the electricity delivery infrastructure is in everybody's home already.
It's weird. You can get electricity almost any place.
Yeah.
Freaks me out, man.
Yeah. It's even more common than gasoline stations.
Have you seen these things? This is electricity.
Yeah, exactly.
It freaks me out. You can, and actually, well, it's not a 18650, but yeah, the Tesla's powered by how many of these?
4,632.
Yeah. Like that. Is that what it is?
It's in the thousands.
Yeah. Yeah, 18650s. Yay! Lithium ion cells. It's weird to me, and the whole thing. There was another article. We were talking about this article. I'm sorry, I keep saying other article. This article's whole thing is will the Prius Prime. I'm sorry. Another article in Forbes. Will the Prius Prime grab customers waiting for the Tesla Model 3? And
come on.
I know. Well, this is the perfect application of Betteridge's principle of headlines, which is if there's a question mark in the headline, the answer is always no. No. And the answer here is no. And it's simply because of what we've been talking about. Toyota at one time a technology leader, an alt car leader, has ceded that ground, and now they're the hybrid company, and the only sales that this new Prius Prime is going to cannibalize, and I use that word intentionally, are Prius sales. It's going to kill standard Prius sales. Why, Paul?
Well, because you get more for your money in places, especially like here in Colorado. After the federal tax credit and the state tax credit, the Prime will be less expensive than the regular Prius. So who in their right mind would buy a regular Prius? Less expensive than the Prius C, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, which is insane. So
with that pricing, guys, do you think that that's intentional? Like, is it a move to eliminate the regular Prius based on pricing?
Maybe this is their Trojan horse strategy. Get people to start buying the Prius Prime. Gives them 3 years to build a pure EV. People get kind of familiar with the idea of plugging their car in and driving without a gas engine. Maybe this is all orchestrated by them.
I have a different theory. And
That they're not smart enough to do that?
no. Well, that they're see, and I don't mean this to be an insult to anybody at Toyota, especially my friends that I know there that don't actually work in this department. So this doesn't reflect on you folks. But no, I don't think Toyota's anywhere near that smart. I think Toyota's back is against the wall. And they've got I have no evidence for this, but I think they're probably losing a little bit of money on this car, and they're pricing it aggressively to sell. And the problem is, unintentionally, they're gonna kill their other Halo car.
Right.
Well, maybe not kill, but they're gonna eat.
But there are
going
going to be places in the world where there are no rebates for the plug-in for the Prius Prime, so the regular Prius will probably do well in those markets.
It may, but I still think the Prime's a really attractive vehicle, especially the upper two trim levels with the big touch screen.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice. It's a
Which
different.
doesn't do Android Auto or Apple CarPlay.
But it does now.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to hack it probably.
Yeah, exactly. At which point the car
Or
will
you can
send
just Velcro another tablet on top of that.
There you go. Yeah.
a double stick. Just
Yeah.
double stick. Right on that 11-inch
Slap
tablet.
it
Who
on.
cares?
Yeah.
I added a 27-inch monitor in my car. Just slapped it in there.
I like that.
No
idea.
officer. It's standard equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, how long before somebody actually does put like 227s in a car?
Yeah.
You know, just like the whole passenger seat is just panoramic.
Yeah.
screen.
Car is lit up like a discotheque from the
Yeah.
outside.
Exactly. They can play Call of Duty, you know, and everything else. But I don't know. I have no evidence for this. I'm just guessing. I think Toyota just screwed up. I think they're so far behind the curve now that they've got to sell this car at an aggressive price. And even though they probably realize that it's going to hurt them in standard Prius sales. And
But,
even
you
at
know,
full price.
the last few months, the standard Prius hasn't been just flying off the lots. So,
Well, it's as we were saying before the show, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, a standard. I looked at,
and gas is cheap.
and gas is dirt cheap. Gas is back down under $2 a gallon here in Florida. And I was on a Toyota lot yesterday. By the way, I love Toyota dealers, and by that I mean they all suck. Okay.
You love them all the same.
Let me amend that. They don't all suck. 98% of them suck aggressively.
They're like phone companies
They're worse. They're like phone companies
and cable companies.
and bikers. In
But
that,
Russell, seriously, tell us how you feel.
yeah, in that they will like fling a chain at your head for no readily discernible reason. It's just, yeah. This place actually moved their service bay, but didn't change the signs.
Wow.
Yeah,
that
it's
was
just
helpful.
that's just the start of it. It's a.
Well, the good thing is for businesses like me, you know, dissatisfied dealer customers look for an alternative. So,
It's a lease,
Yeah.
Paul. It's a lease.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
no,
saying.
I know, but I'm just saying we get
You're right.
a lot of people that say, you know, I just don't like the dealer experience. I want to deal with a small local business, and that's why there's shops like us in lots of places around the country.
15,000 miles. Okay, I was there for a 15K checkup on a relatively new car. Car's, I don't know, like a year or so old.
Right.
So guess what add-on services they wanted to sell me?
Injector cleaner, brake fluid flush.
Yes.
Shampoo clean.
No engine shampoo. Brake fluid exchange because it adds to it makes my car safer. I needed a wheel alignment. And I needed a $39.95 cabin filter change. I said, "Yeah, I'm going to order it off Amazon for $10 and do it."
Yeah.
You know what? I would even pay somebody $20 to do that. Like even though I'd be giving them $8.
We charge like 19 for, and
Yeah.
that's installed, and
And you know what? Fine, $8 to do the labor. You deserve that. But $40 for a fucking cabin filter?
Yeah.
I can't imagine why people don't like dealers. It's weird to me. They're so friendly, and you only have to sit in a showroom and hear car salesmen talk for like an hour and 15 minutes before you want to cut your own throat. It's just awful.
So Russell, where is this car's market?
The Prius Prime?
Where is the Prius Prime market? Because I look at it again from what I own, and I'm going, why would I go backwards? Like, why isn't table stakes at this point like somewhere in the area of 40 miles? Isn't that table stakes today?
Well, a couple of things. I think in a lot of parts of the country, people don't trust American cars, even though the Volt is a very good car, and I've come to appreciate it. When it first came out, I was like, ooh, GM, they build shit for 20 years. They can't possibly know how to build a car. So that's one thing. They're going to get the loyal Japanese car buyer. And the other thing is there's people who have a 10-mile commute, and they go, oh, this is perfect for me. So obviously, if you have a 50-mile round-trip commute, a Volt would make way more sense. But there are people who are just going to say, I bought a Chevy in 1990, and it was the worst car I ever owned. I'm never going to buy one again. And that's human nature. So
it's difficult for me to see that. It's craziness, but I do get it. Chevy built a lot of crummy cars at a point in the past. But man, if you're listening to this show, just drive one. It'll change your mind.
No, I once a week someone comes in with a Prius and says, "Hey, I'm thinking of getting a plug-in car. What should I get?" And I talk to them about, are you one-car household, two-car? How much do you drive? And a Volt makes sense. I say, well, you should look at a Volt. And they go, I'd never look at a Volt. I said, have you driven one? No, but they're, and I say, just go drive one and talk to people who own them and then make a decision. And it's really hard. And that's been the biggest challenge. And I think if the Volt had a Toyota badge on it, they probably would have sold 10 times as many, at least in this part of the country.
In lots of the country. I mean, it's...
In Michigan, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. In Michigan, maybe not so much. But there's a lot of places where people like
California.
Honestly, Toyota's earned the reliability badge that they wear for a long time. I mean, my mom's had a series of Camrys that all went over 200K, and these things are bulletproof.
Did the Onion write an article about her Camry?
Probably several articles about her Camry. But we're not going to go into that. No, but to answer your question directly, Mark, you know who I think this car is made for? It's made for Prius owners.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I mean, and again, this goes back to me seeing Toyota cannibalize their own sales. This is like the next generation Prius. It really is.
Yeah.
And I'm not convinced that the Prime is where Prius is going to go. I mean, that seems natural. So, yeah, I mean, I think there are Prius owners that, oh, no, you didn't really. You did put a link up there. Due to the fact that owners... That's brilliant. The headline on the Onion article that Paul just sent me is, Toyota recalls 1993 Camry due to the fact that owners really should have bought something new by now.
There's nothing wrong with the car. It's just...
That is totally my mom. Yeah. Totally my mom. She's like, please, Mom, the seats are gone. Would you, for God's sakes, buy a car? You're 75 years old. You're sitting on metal springs, God love her. But there it is anyway. Yeah, no, I think this is made for, it doesn't compete with the Volt.
No.
Per se. I mean, it's a little cheaper. It certainly doesn't compete with the Tesla. Well, not the Model S. Of course, it's significantly cheaper than the Model S, but they're two different markets, the people who are spending that money. The Model 3 isn't here yet, so it doesn't really matter. Will it cannibalize some sales? Maybe a few, but not enough that Elon's going to lose any sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is for Prius owners who wanted a better plug-in, who begged for a better plug-in.
And this is the first version of the Prime. No doubt in 3 years there'll be a refresh, and they might add another 20-mile range to it or something. So,
I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
Hopefully that's the direction they're taking. It would be nice to say that they're, as Paul mentioned, they're just getting people used to the plug, and if you're used to the plug, you don't go back.
Yeah,
you are demanding more. It's something that it just continues to. It's a game. Once you get involved with a car like that, you just want to drive more and more electric and use the gasoline less and less. And I am certainly in that boat.
Well, and keep in mind there are still some of us like me that are apartment dwellers, or that just own a home in a place, right. Like my last house in Lancaster, where I had to park on the street. I had no place to plug it in.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's in Florida.
In consideration when buying the car, absolutely.
Yeah. I live in Florida. Are there charging stations?
There's one.
There are 2 charging stations in the city where I live in Florida, in the largest city in this county. There's a charge point station at a Walgreens
Right.
that is impossible to get to, and there's a Tesla supercharger,
Oh,
which I can't use yet. Wait for it.
Off topic. Did you guys see the release this week about the Tesla superchargers are going to be free forever anymore?
So,
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't put that on the news schedule, but we got to talk about that, don't we?
Oh, we can wait for Evan to come here. But actually, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you can't. I mean, they're going to give you so much free per year, and then charge. But the people who bought the thing that said, or bought it when it was free for life, should be grandfathered, because that's just free.
And they are, and that's what they are. It's going to be cars as of January 2017 that are under the new regime.
Okay.
Anyone before that point is free forever.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
Even including the resale of those cars.
Ooh,
So it follows the car.
Yeah,
That's
Oh
good.
wow, that's
Well, that will
valuable.
make those cars more desirable in the resale market.
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's honorable then.
But they had to do something, right? They're going to be adding 5 times the amount of cars in 2 years or less, and then you've got yourself a real problem of lineups.
So here's my question for you guys then. So someone at Tesla had to have a vision that at some point supercharging wasn't going to be free for everybody forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? They had to think at some point, guys, we're going to have to charge people for this shit because we can't
Right.
just give it away because
Right.
we're building a buttload of them everywhere.
Yeah.
So how huge a mistake was it? Is this just Elon's ego when he hated the 1772 plug and he had to design his own one because he said, as I recall, this is almost a quote, it wasn't pretty enough. So they had to design their own proprietary plug, which Tesla has. So if you're selling electricity, if you're in that business, because they're going to be in that business soon, how dumb is it that you have a plug that only your cars can use?
Well, I think the technical reason the aesthetic reason was a secondary thing, but the J1772 standard would still take like 24 hours to charge a Model S. So they had to come up with something that could dump a ton of power quickly, and there was no standard at the time, so they just came up with their own.
I see.
Now, obviously, in the future, I would expect Tesla to modify their superchargers to have different connectors or adapters, because hell, if GM's not going to build a charging network and I've got a Bolt and I could use a Tesla station and give them $5, I would use it.
Right.
And I think that's a market, that's a revenue stream for them if they can make adapters.
Conveniently located along lots of major
All the
thoroughfares.
interstates, and they've got a great network.
Does it hurt Tesla though? Because they could turn around and say, our chargers are for our cars. Look how conveniently they're posted. Maybe next time your lease is up, you should be getting yourself a Tesla because now you can drive the interstates with us.
Yeah, but they could say, our customers get it for $3 a charge, and everyone else is $10 a charge or something.
Yeah, that could happen too.
Right.
Because there's a lot of times you go by those supercharger stations, and there's 6 chargers and 0 or 1 car there. So until they're getting filled out to capacity, they could use it to generate revenue and get people aware of their network.
Interesting you said. I was listening to our guest last week, Ed Niedermeyer, has a show called the Autonocast. It's about autonomous vehicles, and I was listening to his last show, and they just came up, and I don't think about this stuff because I don't live there, but they were saying how in the Bay Area and in Portland, getting in a supercharger is it's like getting a ticket to the Oscars.
Wow.
Apparently, it's very difficult to get a charger in those areas because of the density of Tesla owners.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get it. The proprietary thing, but it is an interesting business model that you're going to start selling electricity, but only to certain people.
Right.
There's nothing stopping them from putting in a few of the standard chargers at a Tesla site either.
That's true. I guess they could probably change them.
If you've leased the land, you got no problem in putting in a couple. So that's a possibility for them too.
Yeah.
Or sublet space to GM or whoever on their property and connect to their electric supply.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's like
options.
in the old days, all the cell phone companies built their own towers, and then they finally said, "Hey, you know what? If we build one tower and share the cost between AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint, it's going to be cheaper than us building our own towers."
Yeah.
Right.
And that industry, so now they all have a shitty signal in that part.
Okay.
But
No,
yeah, I guess we'll see where things shake out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I can't wait to see the fight between like Bolt and Model S owners. At charger stations. Chevy, yeah, Tesla, yeah. No, maybe not.
Be like a college football game.
Exactly. People tearing the badges off of cars and stuff. You suck. American piece of crap. Yo, you're an American piece of crap. Oh, wait, we're both American pieces. Okay, so, yeah, that whole thing probably doesn't fly. Speaking of American pieces of crap, and I used that segue badly, but there it is anyway. I caught no small amount of hell on this show for speculating that the Apple car was not a car. It wasn't going to happen. I got my proverbial balls busted in a big way on more than probably half a dozen shows, if memory serves. So I have to go back to October because I've had this one and I'm going to get out of my system at some point. And today's the day. Sorry, guys. I got to go back to October 5th to a Slate article and an October 17th Business Insider. Business Insider, the headline is, and I quote, "There will never be an Apple car." Okay. The Slate article, quote, the headline, "The Apple car's failure looks like a bad sign for Apple. It isn't." You know what? I don't care. Of course it's not a bad sign for Apple. They were going to try and do something, maybe, sort of, kind of. And then they stopped doing it because they realized building a car is stupid. So that's it. All I want to say is, I admit
I'll say it. I'll say it. You were right.
Yep. I'll say you're probably right, but Apple's very secretive. Maybe they just said all that and they've got another team busy away.
At which point I'll eat poop again in front of the entire audience on the show and go.
So for now, you're right.
For now, I get a little bit of dignity back tonight. Just about that much dignity.
Right on.
Very, very little. Okay, so we'll go on to the next thing because that was boring. Hey, I got a surprise for you. You guys will never, ever guess what happened. Wow, there's no way I'm going to get that name right. A wonderful author at Green Car Reports wrote a story on the 7th. Guess where they found a smog cheat device?
Yes.
And another VW.
And an Audi group car, and an Audi.
Yep.
Yay, VW.
But this time, they were hiding it in the transmission.
Yeah. Right.
It's under the spare tire.
It's just
where are they going to find the next one?
Yeah.
In the windshield washer fluid area?
in a drone that follows the car. I just, like this whole it was just a few bad Apple engineers. Nobody knew. It's like, come on. They're going to find them in Bentley's next.
Kind of sad is it's been a year since the first VW stuff started to hit the fan, and everybody knows Audi's same company, same parts are shared. Why did it take a year for them to figure it out? It's like, did no one even look?
Why did Audi not come to the table a couple months after this thing and said, "Listen, here it is. It's another one.
You're going to catch us. Let's just
get it out of the open. It's stupid."
Did they think people were never going to find?
Just what a blunder! Absolute blunder.
I just, how can you want to buy a car from this company that's been so grossly dishonest?
Yeah.
It's shocking. Yeah. It really is.
It's not like, wow, car company lied. Oh my God. But I mean, this is really devious shit. Yeah. Okay. This is not, and please, the whole EPA thing. I mean, I promise you next year, there will be fewer of these disclosures than there was this year. Okay.
Yep.
That's the sad political truth of that. That's going away. So anything?
Get your gas mask now.
Yeah, exactly. Seen those photos of Beijing? Yeah, coming to a city near you.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, not you, not Colorado. I mean, that's not going to happen. You know what else isn't going to happen?
The future.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on its way, whether you like it or not.
our friends at Faraday Future, which I have to love. Inside EVs, I don't know if this was a mistake, but the headline is Faraday's *S Future, like Faraday's own. You know what I mean? Like, no, the company's called Faraday Future, not Faraday's. You know, like. I just thought it was anyway. The Chinese company that owns Faraday Future and funds them is apparently, well, let's just say they don't have any money. A few weeks ago, we'd reported that they were behind on some payments and construction had stopped at their billion-dollar factory in Las Vegas, which last time I saw it was still a pile of unimproved dirt. So when they say construction has stopped, what they mean is it's never started. And it turns out
to be fair, Russell, the tumbleweed was moved, right?
Right. They moved.
The tumbleweed was moved out of the way, right?
Yeah.
You got me.
Okay.
You got me. I absolutely. You're right. I wasn't being fair to Faraday Future. Yeah. So turns out that their Chinese dad has blown a whole ton of money building a factory in China and buying some other companies. I didn't even know this. They bought Vizio, the cheap TV company.
Yep.
Okay.
Which makes me probably put Vizio on my I'm not going to buy from you anymore list. Not because I hate them or anything. It's just like...
Hang on. That's where the 27-inch screens are going to go in the car that we talked about earlier. The Vizios touchscreens.
That's the breakthrough that Faraday Future is going to bring.
Yeah.
They're going to replace the windshield with screens. It'll be like a drive-in movie everywhere you go.
Man, I hope there's more thought put in this.
I think we probably just put more thought into Faraday Future's car than they have.
That's interesting. This parent company apparently owns two electric car companies, Faraday Future and another group that just introduced a car a couple months ago at a big fanfare event
in China.
Yeah.
Just so we're
Chinese market.
Yeah, for the Chinese market, which
with
means
no
we'll never
safety
see
standards.
it. No, made out of corrugated. That's probably a bad stereotype. I shouldn't say that, but let's just say it hasn't passed any tests here. Some crash tests. No, the guy's way overextended himself, and they don't have any money. And at last I heard, Faraday wasn't selling anything.
Right.
So there's no money coming in. And that's what the owner of the company said. There's no money coming in, and they're trimming people from their other divisions. Oddly enough, there's still, I think, 1,000 people working for Faraday Future doing God knows what. I think our favorite vaporware company may not be long for this world.
Yeah.
And
one of the comments in the article. Sorry, one of the comments in the article said, "Wow, hey, Tesla can pick up another factory cheap now." They can't keep up with their existing factory.
Yeah.
So the plan to save all this big organization is to slash 10% of the jobs.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Again, probably not a lot of thought put into that.
Maybe get some revenue first would probably be. Like they have negative revenue right now.
I would be looking for prices on Vizio TVs to skyrocket this Christmas.
Yeah, because they're worth it.
Yeah, well, there's that too. But yeah, I mean, right. The budget, the cheap TV, like I'm not going to pay a lot for this big screen company. All of a sudden, they're like the premium big screen company. That probably is not another good business strategy. And what a surprise coming from people who seem to be able to produce nothing but bad business strategies.
Right.
So cheers to our friends at Faraday Future and Faraday's Future, apparently. In
a few months, are we going to call them Faraday Past?
Well, their big reveal's coming up. Their big reveal's coming up in just 2 months at CES. They're going to debut their first consumer car.
That's not styrofoam.
Well, I didn't say that. I just they
'Cause
have
last year was styrofoam.
last year's styrofoam. This year,
Cardboard.
here's the thing. From what I understand, from what I guess, from what I hear, from what I've seen on like the spy car sites and whatnot, that this is their high-end car. This is their like Model S competitor, which, you know, who doesn't want a Chinese-made Model S when you could buy a Tesla?
Yeah. But it'll be cheaper.
It better be real cheap. and then the thought is, I'm putting my life in the hands of this really cheap car.
Yeah, with the equivalent autopilot.
Right. I was gonna say, can you imagine what the autopilot actually is? It's like 3 hamsters running in gyroscopes or something. Oh, honey, did I forget to feed the hamsters? Oh shit! As they, as the car veers into a lake.
Oh god.
You know? Oh,
Yeah,
another.
the autopilot feature on that car, $15.
Yeah. You got to stop by PetSmart and reload the autopilot.
Yeah, you gotta reload the hamsters every once in a while. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's made from the highest quality components.
Let's get some cute hamsters this time. My apologies to everyone at Faraday. I'm sure you're probably good people who are just trying to earn a living, but I don't understand you.
Yeah.
And you don't talk to us, so there's not much chance I'm going to understand you. I think that's all I got this week.
That's it, huh?
Unless you guys have something.
Nothing else happened
Nothing
this
else?
week that's important. So
Mark, any Voltec news?
Nothing. Nope, nothing pressing.
Nothing good. Well, then let's do our shout-outs and go home because we've worked a hard night. Paul.
I'll shout out to, once again, the great state of Colorado, and the clock is ticking on used EV purchases. If you want to get a rebate on a used EV, you've got to purchase it by December 31st. Of course, in January 1st, there's a new program on new EVs or plug-in hybrids. You will get a nice, healthy discount. So if you live in Colorado, get off your butt and buy something used this year or something new next year. And then I'll also plug my own business, Boulder Hybrids, where we fix and repair and service, do all that good stuff for hybrids and EVs in Boulder, Colorado. Our website is boulderhc.com, and you can contact us there or stop in if you're in the area.
Definitely. Stop in, and Paul tells me every customer that comes in to visit, he buys them a beer.
Well, not really, but
No, Paul's never said that to me. I just made that up. I totally made
they
that up.
can bring us beer.
Yeah. But Paul loves it. Your car will get fixed more quickly
Oh,
if
yeah.
you bring in beer.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
brownies
Paul will be
or
happier too.
snacks,
So
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's actually a good tip for anybody out there in Autoland. If you go to an independent repair shop, bring them cookies, brownies, beer. Your car will always get better attention than if you just show up.
Isn't getting edibles from a stranger in Colorado really dangerous?
Well, yeah. You don't want to try them until after business hours.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I obviously don't care what you do in your time off. I'm just thinking like,
Yeah, if someone brings us homemade brownies, we kind of say, well, maybe we'll try them after work.
after work. Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a good plan. Mr. Coughlin, what about you, sir?
Just a shout out to the Waterloo Regional Voltec group at WR Voltec. If you're interested in following some news on Twitter or Facebook, please look us up. And we will see you again next week.
You damn right we will. I just like talking like that sometimes. The usual shout outs here. As always, the show wants to thank most sincerely Mr. Michael Mannering for the use of his theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Visit us at whatdrives.us to download or stream our show in video or audio format. You can also visit us at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. You can interact with us there, ask us questions, tell us how wonderful we are, please, because we don't mind hearing that. And we even grab some of the news from people like you that post stuff there. So facebook.com/whatdrivesus or our main site at whatdrives.us. Gentlemen, Paul, Mark, thank you so much for an awesome show this week. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Always fun.
And your professional expertise, and you staying away from the brownies until after the show. I think that
Right.
too, because the show's much more entertaining. You know what? I'm talking about myself. I'm sorry. I got to conclude that. I mean, and what? 4 more states passed that law. I think. No. Wait. 2 more recreational.
That's
and
right.
then
In California, right? That's a big one.
California, Nevada, or California, Nevada, I think.
Nevada. Wow.
And then
Vegas is going to be.
Vegas is
Crazy.
going to be happening again. Yeah. And then Maine and Florida passed medical marijuana.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I know Florida did, and I think Maine did. Maine's weird. I mean, Paul LePage is their governor, and they passed medical marijuana?
No.
How the hell does that happen? Anyway,
You would
enough
need
of
marijuana
that.
to live in Maine, so.
Yeah, good. With Paul LePage as your governor, you need a lot of marijuana. I think there's more marijuana than I could possibly smoke. As that is, thanks, of
Sorry,
course,
we
to all.
weren't supposed to talk politics.
No, we weren't going to talk about no politics tonight, just cars. Thanks to all of you for listening and or viewing the show. We appreciate it. Tune in next week and find out what drives us. And until then, see ya. Kind of wait. Oh, there we go. Have fun, guys.
Bye-bye.